At first, my pepper plants looked crowded and messy. Leaves were overlapping. Branches crossed each other. Compared to the neat, carefully pruned plants beside them, they almost looked neglected. After 7 days, the difference was even more noticeable. After 2 weeks, the unpruned plants looked wild. By day 30, though, something surprising had happened. And it was not what most gardeners expect. Season after season, I have seen this same pattern in home gardens and even on small farms. Plants that look too full at first often settle into their own balance. If your peppers feel slow or messy right now, you're not doing anything wrong. What happened over those 30 days changed the way I think about pruning. Before explaining why this worked, it helps to understand why we prune peppers in the first place. For many years, gardeners have been told to prune for good reasons. When you remove some leaves and small branches, you open the plant to more air. Airflow can lower moisture around the leaves, which may reduce disease in humid weather. Pruning can also direct the plant's energy toward fewer fruits. In theory, fewer fruits may grow larger. Some growers shape young pepper plants early so they grow strong stems and even spacing. None of this advice is foolish. It comes from experience. In tight garden beds or greenhouses, airflow really does matter. In short growing seasons, directing energy can help fruit ripen before cold weather arrives. Over time, pruning became a common practice because people saw benefits in certain conditions. But advice can become a rule. And sometimes rules forget to consider the plant itself. A pepper plant is not trying to waste energy. It is trying to survive and produce seed. When we remove parts of it, the plant responds in ways that are not always obvious right away. So I decided to stop pruning for 30 days and simply watch. During the first week, the plants pushed out new leaves quickly. The growth looked almost too fast. The leaves were soft and bright green. New stems felt flexible but strong when I gently pressed them between my fingers. Branches split into more branches. Small shoots formed at joints along the stems. By the second week, flowers were forming, but some of them were smaller than usual. A few blossoms dropped, which can look worrying, but peppers often do this as they adjust. The soil beneath the plants became more shaded. When I touched the top layer, it stayed slightly moist longer than the bare soil around pruned plants. In hot afternoons, the ground under the fuller plants felt cooler. That surprised me. I had not expected leaf cover to protect the soil so noticeably. In warmer climates, this leafy growth can happen very quickly. Heat and long daylight encourage fast expansion. In cooler regions, the change may be slower and more gentle. But in both cases, the first reaction of the plant is usually the same. It builds leaves. At this stage, many gardeners feel tempted to cut again. The plant can look crowded. It can feel like things are getting out of control. But messy growth does not mean failure. It simply means the plant is building something beneath the surface that we cannot always see. Here is the part most people miss. Pepper plants balance themselves over time. Leaves feed the roots. Roots feed the fruit. When sunlight hits a leaf, the leaf turns that light into energy. That energy moves down into the plant and helps build strong roots and stems. This quiet process happens every day without us noticing. Think of it like saving money. Each leaf collects a small amount of energy every day. The plant stores that energy and uses it when it needs to grow fruit. If too many leaves are removed, it is like taking away the plant's income. It must rebuild its earning power before it can spend energy on peppers. When we remove too many leaves, the plant does not simply shift that energy to fruit. Instead, it pauses. It must rebuild its leaf system before it feels strong enough to support heavy fruit. That rebuilding takes time. During that time, fruit growth may slow. By leaving the leaves in place, the plant continued feeding itself without interruption. The roots grew deeper and steadier. The stems thickened slowly. I noticed that the main stems became firmer over those 30 days. When wind moved through the garden, the fuller plants bent but did not strain. Photosynthesis may sound like a complicated word, but it simply means leaves turning sunlight into food. Think of the leaves as small solar panels. The more healthy panels the plant has, the more energy it can collect. That energy supports everything else. By the end of 30 days, I noticed a clear result. There were more total peppers on the unpruned plants. Some of them were slightly smaller than the largest fruits on the pruned plants, but there were more of them overall. When I weighed the harvest from both groups, the difference was not dramatic in size per fruit, but it was steady in total yield. The fruit also seemed protected by the leaf cover. In the hotter part of the season, I saw less sunscald. The peppers were shaded from direct afternoon heat. Their skins looked smoother and less faded. In very strong sun, exposed fruit can sometimes develop pale or soft patches. The fuller plants helped reduce that. In cooler climates with short summers, the story can be different. If frost comes early, heavy leaf growth may delay ripening. In that case, light pruning to open the plant late in the season can help fruit mature before cold weather arrives. In long, warm seasons, though, the plant often has enough time to balance leaf and fruit growth naturally. This does not mean pruning is wrong. It means the results depend on your climate, your spacing, and your patience. One common mistake I have seen is removing too many leaves at once. A gardener trims heavily, hoping for larger fruit. The plant responds by focusing on regrowth. Another mistake is pruning during heat stress. When temperatures are very high, plants are already working hard to stay hydrated. Removing leaves during that time can increase stress. Pruning right after transplanting can also slow young plants. They are still settling their roots and adjusting to new soil. If you have already pruned your peppers, don't worry. Plants recover. They are resilient. Given time, they rebuild and continue producing. The key is to understand that recovery takes energy and patience. There are times when pruning truly makes sense. If leaves are damaged or diseased, removing them can help the plant focus on healthy growth. In very humid climates, opening the center of a dense plant may improve airflow and reduce moisture buildup. If plants are spaced very close together, gentle shaping can prevent branches from rubbing. In colder regions, some gardeners lightly top plants late in the season. This can encourage the plant to focus on ripening existing fruit instead of producing new flowers that will not mature before frost. When pruning is needed, it helps to be gentle and purposeful. Clean pruners reduce the chance of spreading disease. There is no need for heavy cutting. A few careful adjustments are often enough. The larger lesson from my 30 days was not about avoiding pruning forever. It was about observing before acting. Each garden is different. Soil type, rainfall, sunlight, wind, and temperature all influence how peppers respond. Even container-grown peppers may behave differently because their root space is limited. If your plants are spaced widely and receive good airflow, they may not need much pruning at all. If they are packed tightly in raised beds, some shaping might help. If you live in a region with long, warm seasons, allowing fuller growth can increase total harvest. In shorter seasons, a lighter touch may support earlier ripening. Look at your plant density. Notice how quickly the soil dries. Pay attention to whether fruit is sunburned or well protected. Observe whether flowers are dropping or setting steadily. These small details tell you more than any fixed rule. Your garden doesn't need perfection. It needs patience. Many of us learned gardening from neighbors, family members, or old books. Those lessons matter. But plants continue teaching us every year. Sometimes what looks untidy is simply nature doing its work. If you feel comfortable, I would be glad to hear what you've noticed in your own garden. Do your peppers seem happier when you prune them, or when you let them grow freely? And what kind of climate are you gardening in? Warm and long, or cool and short? There is no pressure to answer. It is simply helpful to learn from each other's experiences. Peppers are stronger than we think. They are built to adapt. Leaves are not wasted growth. They are the plant's energy system. When we overcorrect too quickly, we may slow the natural rhythm of the plant. Sometimes the best move in the garden is not another cut or another adjustment. Sometimes it is to step back and watch. Over those 30 days, I learned that less intervention can lead to steady, healthy production. Not because pruning is bad, but because constant correction can interrupt the plant's balance. Do less. Get more. Sometimes doing less gives your peppers room to do more.